Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So, I was just doing some of my normal kind of eBay searches and eBay hunting for CGC 9.8 comic books, and I kind of came across some juicy prices for a really big mega key, like a great investment grade key that I would recommend as an awesome key, certainly if you really liked the character too. So, seeing some juicy prices, and then I started thinking of just kind of the sort of normal market environment or promotional environment for this book and the character, and I think it's really favorable right now. Like, there's no real big hype for the character, there's no movie out right now, there's even a movie that just ended, and maybe there's like a bit of a lull in the popularity, which is really good. Like, those are the type of environments that I would recommend to buy books. You don't want to buy books like right after an announcement while a movie's out in theater, or, in those situations you're almost guaranteed to pay a really high price. So, you know what? I kind of just thought about it and thought, wow, I think it's a really good time to get out there if you really like this character and you want this book, to buy this book in the CGC 9.8 specifically. So, we'll get into all the details. I do have kind of 4 reasons that I boiled it down to, but really quickly, I want to invite everyone to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, I'd love to have you on our comic book investing team, and hit the bell to get all the notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter too. I'll have all the links in the description below. But yeah, let's get right into the book. I kind of brought out some related material, but I don't have this book. So, the book I would recommend to buy right now in CGC 9.8 is a Batman Adventures number 12. CGC 9.8's first appearance of Harley Quinn in comic books. Classic kind of Batgirl, Harley Quinn cover, and I think some people are kind of turned off to the animation art style, but I really love it. So nostalgic for me. I really love Batman the Animated Series growing up, so for me, the animation art doesn't bug me at all. Like, Bruce Timm art is awesome to me, actually. It's almost the opposite for me. I really like it. So, Batman Adventures 12, such a big, huge key issue for good reason. So, on the census, there's 819 CGC 9.8s in the blue label. 819, so one of the 819 collector item if you ever grab this one in CGC 9.8. But the real big sort of great thing about this is that 14.9% CGC 9.8 ratio. So of all graded copies of this book, 14.9% of them are CGC 9.8s. And that's really low. That's a really nice rarity. But for a 90s book, like when you're relating this to other 90s books, it's really rare. That's a really low, great investment grade CGC 9.8 ratio. And that's kind of why, very expensive comic book for Batman Adventures 12. So, yeah, and obviously kind of touched on that, was seeing some juicy prices. So, yeah, we'll get into prices here. Because, I've been really into it for the last 3 years, I think, buying CGC 9.8 comic books. And it was really tough to grab this one in a new case, a nice looking one, for under $2,000. Like, they had just really exploded off of the Suicide Squad movie about 5 years ago, let's call it. So just exploded, and then mix in that low CGC 9.8 ratio, the low rarity, you get those over 2,000 prices. So I was always kind of priced out this book, to be honest. Out of this book, the market kind of priced me out, because I always thought, hey, I'd rather have an Amazing Spider-Man 300 CGC 9.8, which is, you can get one for kind of 1,900, 2,000, let's call it. So I was always priced out of this market, but obviously just mentioned that on eBay was seeing some juicy prices. So there was a buy it now or best offer for Batman Adventures 12 CGC 9.8. It was $1,450 or best offer. So let's call it 3-4 months ago, I remember seeing a lot of auctions go for kind of 1,700, 1,600, and for me that was a pretty big lull on the book. I thought, like, oh wow, like, could be a good time. Batman Adventures was coming down in price. But with this 1,450 or best offer, like, conceivably, maybe he would get rid of that for around 1,250. And I think in this environment, if you can get this book for 1,250 in the CGC 9.8, I think that's a great price. I think it's a really great investment grade book. Maybe if you really were a sort of bottom fisher value type of opportunistic buyer, you could maybe wait for $1,000. This book could possibly come down to $1,000. But with that low CGC 9.8 ratio, like, I don't think it's going to get anywhere near first Deadpool, New Mutants 98, which is like 650, 700, let's call it. So it's never going to get anywhere near that. And there's like 2,000 and something of those of New Mutants 98s on the census. So this book's never going to get to that. So I just think it's certainly worth the premium for New Mutants 98, absolutely, because it's a lot more rare. But I think that's a really good target price. Yeah, like obviously there's one on eBay. I didn't look this morning actually. I think it was yesterday or the day before where I was looking. It was $1,450 or best offer. But $1,250 for Batman Adventures 12, a really good looking one, CGC 9.8 in a new case. I think that's a price target to go for. So yeah, let's talk about the four reasons why I think Batman Adventures 12 and the CGC 9.8 is just a great buy right now. Yeah, so first reason is you're getting it at that great price. So yeah, again, in the last 3 years, I was really into it. Hard to get this under 2,000. So, I mean, anything conceivably for a really good copy, if you really like Harley Quinn, like under 1,500, is I think a pretty fair price for this book. Like a really nice copy in a new case. And considering many of them went near 2,000 in the past 3 to 5 years, you feel good about that, kind of getting in on the lower end of that for sure. Second reason is looks awesome on the census, and it especially looks awesome on the census for a 1990s book. Yeah, just, once the 1990s came around, everyone put their comic in a bag and board, and collecting was really popular, so none of these books are really, really rare in a high grade. But when you do get a kind of rare one in a high grade, it really stands out, and the prices really go up, and this is a perfect example of that, because yeah, 14.9% for a 1990s book. Like, the only one that comes to mind that's lower than that is Malibu Sun, Malibu Sun 11 or 13, is it, with the first Spawn? And that's like a weird sort of promotional magazine, so it's almost not even a good comparison, but that one, I believe, for a 1990s book is like around 10% or maybe 9%, it might be single digits. But this is pretty much the lowest out of like all the main keys from the 1990s. So yeah, the most rare CGC 9.8 book in the most obvious rare, let's call it obvious, because I'm sure there's some rare one that I don't know about. But looks awesome on the census for a 1990s book. So yeah, again, I don't think it's one where you want to wait for the price to like come down anywhere near like Deadpool or anything like that, because it's so rare on the census that I think there's going to be collectors in there that are really looking on the census that are going to come in here and buy around sort of the 1,200 mark, let's call it. I don't think it'll get much lower than that for sure. So third reason here is the promo's really fizzling out for Harley Quinn, I find. And we always talk about on the channel, like you don't want to go out there in like a heavily promoted environment and buy because you're almost going to always pay a higher price. So when there's the promos fizzling out and Birds of Prey, I mean basically flopped, like let's be honest. And I think the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, I think that's played its course. I think so right now I think it's just a good time where there's a bit of a lull, but like Joker and Batman, like there's always the opportunity out there for like a Heath Ledger to come along to like to do that with Harley Quinn. Like a great actress comes along and like does what Heath Ledger did to Joker doing to Harley Quinn. So I think there's still a lot of like long-term leg in the Harley Quinn character. Like she's really iconic, and even the movies, like there was Suicide Squad and there was Birds of Prey, but like there hasn't even really been like a Harley Quinn movie. Like that is still yet to come. I think like that'll probably come out eventually. So still some legs, I think, for the character. And right now, again, yeah, you're getting in a lull in the promotion and the popularity, so you're getting a great price, and that's reflected in the price because, as I said, yeah, pretty much the best price in the last 3 to 5 years. And yeah, so for kind of already touched on it. Last reason, the fourth reason, is she is an iconic character. Harley Quinn's, I think, is a really iconic character, and like Joker and Batman, there's always new actors and actresses to kind of come up and play them, and then possibly revive like a lot of popularity into the character. So I think that will sort of happen with Harley Quinn, basically, yeah. And again, you're sort of like, if I don't really recommend to kind of time things or anything like that, but I think from a timing perspective, you kind of are getting in the lower sort of phase of the promotion when the prices are lower for this comic book. And yeah, since it's looks so good on the census, like all the facts are like saying that it's a very great investment grade book. So a lot of times when there's like a lull in a price of something that looks really valuable and rare, like that's something you want to buy and, you know, seize the opportunity rather than, oh, it's gone down in price, like I hope it doesn't go lower. And, you know, if you have a long-term perspective, a lot of times if you feel an opportunity in something that's pretty rare, like a Batman Adventures 12, yeah, looking sort of comparing it to those 90s books, it is a really rare, great investment grade book. So, all right, I think that's about it. Yeah, you know, just a quick recommendation for Batman Adventures 12 today. And yeah, you know, me personally, like, do I want this book? I feel like this, you know, seeing these prices under 1,500, I'm really starting to seriously think about it a lot more than when this was always around 2,000, and me being a huge Amazing Spider-Man 300, Todd McFarlane fan, Amazing Spider-Man 300 is so rare in the CGC 9.8 with that like 6% CGC 9.8 ratio. To me, yeah, when this was like neck and neck with Amazing Spider-Man 300, it just wasn't there for me, like it was a little overvalued. But now, yeah, I think 1,250 is a great price target. Like if you can get it for that, I think long term you're going to be great, and you can feel like you got a great deal and have great pride of ownership from yeah, possibly grabbing this book. So yeah, strategy would maybe be in the next 6 months, be on top of your searches for Batman Adventures 12, a nice new one in a new case, and yeah, maybe put those bids in for 1,250, 1,350, and you know, you want to keep an eye on the price because, you know, who knows, tomorrow a nice one could come along in an auction and sell for like 1,700. Like these lulls may not last very long. You just never know. So, you know, stay on top of the prices. But yeah, I think with the promotional environment, you're going to have some lulls here in the next, because yeah, Birds of Prey bombed, and next 6 months here, putting in some best offers and being on top of the search results for Batman Adventures 12 around that 1,250, I think will be a good hunting for, you know, if you're in the market for Batman Adventures number 12, Harley Quinn book. Yeah, like, personally, I've always liked the Mad Love cover better than Batman Adventures 12. But Batman Adventures 12 cover is really growing on me, I think, with kind of the cute Batgirl cover. So, it's kind of the only, like, I don't have a Mad Love in the CGC 9.8. Obviously, I would have brought it out, but I still don't have those two in the CGC 9.8. So certainly one I could possibly buy, and I think the prices are pulling me back in, I think. Yeah, after thinking they were a little bit overvalued, I think, for it's kind of the last 3 years when I've been really buying CGC 9.8 comic books. Okay, I think that'll be it for today's video. Yeah, get out there. If you're in the market for you're a big Harley Quinn fan, could be just a great time right now to, and even in the next 6 months here, if you're seeing this video a bit late, could be just a great time to get out there and buy Batman Adventures 12 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, great investment grade book. All right, thanks so much for watching today. Really appreciate all the comments. Thanks so much for the comments, and thanks for, if you subscribe, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, taking the time to do that. Yeah, so yeah, message me on Instagram if you have any questions about comic books. Love to chit chat about comic books if you do have any questions. So thanks again for watching today. I'll see you on the next one.